Explore the art of problem solving with Anil Kumar. Enjoy the journey of learning. In this particular video, we are going to discuss 6 word problems related to linear systems. The questions are based on mixtures, numbers, board speed, age problems, work done, and area of triangle. Very common topics. Normally, a question on one of these topics is always there in the test paper on linear systems. Now let's begin with the very first question, which is related to mixtures. How much 15% solution and how much 40% solution should be mixed together to make 100 gallons of 20% solution? Let us visualize a method of doing it and then we are going to solve it. So there are two given solutions. One is, let's say this is one solution and this is the other one. We are going to mix these two to make the third one. So we have 50% solution and 40% solution. So 50% in decimals will be 0.15 and 40% will be 0.40. Should be mixed together to make 100 gallons of 20%. So when we mix them up, what we get is 100 gallons of 20%. So we have 20% means 0.20, and now we know the total volume of this, which is 100 gallons, right? So 100 gallons. So definitely, if one amount is X and let the other one be Y, in that case, what could be set of equations? When we say pair of equations, we normally work with two equations. So definitely, if I check the amounts, I do get one equation saying X plus Y should be equal to 100, right? Second is, we could say, well, Y is equal to 100 minus X. So we get one of our equation relating Y with X, which is 100 minus X. Now the second equation we are going to get with the help of the percent required concentration of the solution. So when I say 15% of X mixed with 40% of Y to give 20% of 100 gallons of the result, we could form an equation as 0.15x plus 0.40y will give us 0.20 of 100. Makes sense, right? So the quantity is being multiplied by the percent concentration to relate the two things, right? Great. Now, since we know that y is 100 minus x, we could actually rewrite this as 0.40 times 100 minus x equals to, when you multiply 0.20 by 100, you get 20. Correct. So now we can open the brackets, solve for x, right? So 0.15x plus 40 minus 0.40x is equal to 20. Now we can do the math. 0.15 minus 0.40x is 20 minus 40, which is minus 20. On this side, we get what? So if you take away 15 from 40, we get 5. And then from 3, we'll take away this, so 0.25x is equal to, and that too a negative quantity because minus 40 is greater, minus 20, right? So that gives you the value of x as minus 20 over minus 0.25. So 0.25, is one fourth, right? So minus minus becomes plus, and 4 times 2 becomes 8. So 80. So we get the value of x as 80. So that means that 80 gallons of 15% solution, and how many gallons of 40% solutions? Let's figure this out. So y is 100 minus x. So y is 100 minus 80, which is 20. So we get 80 gallons of 15% solution, right? Plus 20 gallons of 40% solution, right? So that becomes the answer for the given question. So I hope you have understood each and every step. First, visualize what you're trying to do, then form your equations. Solve them. In this case, we isolated y and substituted the value. So we solved them by substitution in this particular case. Perfect. Let's take up the next question, which is based on digits. 7 times a two digit number is the same as 4 times the number obtained on interchanging the digits of original number. If one digit of the given number exceeds the other by 3, find the number. So this is kind of a tricky question. When we talk about two digit number, let's say the digits of the numbers are AB. So if AB is the digit of the number, in that case, what is the value of this? A is in the tens position, so the value of this is 10A plus B. B is at unit place, correct? Now, if you reverse it, in that case, the digit becomes BA. You get the idea. And the value of this reverse is what? Is 10 times B plus A. So, this is the first thing which you have to understand while working with this particular type of question, since we are obtaining the digits interchanging, right? So, when you interchange the digits of the original number, instead of writing, for example, 23, it becomes 32. You get the whole idea, right? 23, 32, 35, 53, something like this, correct? Now, let's look into the question itself. We have defined a digit as AB, the number. So it says 7 times the two digit number is same as. So 7 times the two digit number, which is this one, right? So let's write down our equation. 7 times AB, which is 10A plus B, is same as 4 times, right? That is 4 times the number obtained on interchanging the digits of original number, means 4 times 10b plus a. That is why it was kind of important to understand how do we work with a two digit number. If it was a three digit number, ABC for example, then A was in place value of 100, B in tens, and C was in ones, right? So likewise, you have to solve these types of questions. So we get our equation. Let's open and simplify this. We get 70A plus 7B equals to 40B plus 4A. Correct. So we can kind of relate them. Bringing A to the left side, we get 70A minus 4A equals to 40B minus 7B. Or we get 66A equals to 40 minus 7, which is 33B. And that means we get 2A equals to B. So we have a relation between the two things, which is AB is something like A is twice B, right? Now I think it's very simple to answer this question. Second part is if one digit of the given number exceeds other by 3, right? So 2a is b, that means b is bigger, right? So 2a is b, that means b is greater than a, right? So it says if one digit of the given number exceeds other by 3, so we can say b is equal to a plus 3, right? So b is a plus 3. So we could get this as our second equation. Now we'll sub 2 in 1, which is this equation. Makes sense. And so we get 2a equals to b, which is a plus 3. So 2a minus a is 3. A is equal to 3. And therefore, b is equals to 3 times 2, which is 6. Correct. And therefore, we can say, find the number, we can say that the number is a is 3, b is 6, 36. Now let's take the next question. Here is a very interesting question based on the speed of the boat. A boat took 2 hours to travel 20 kilometers down the river with the current and 5 hours to make the return against the current. Find the speed of the boat in still water and speed of the current. Very interesting question seen in many test papers. Well, in case you want to understand complete concepts, you can always send an email on globalmathinstitute@gmail.com. Our students are right there on the top, getting admission to the best universities, even with scholarships. Now, in this question, let's see how do we resolve or solve such questions. So let's assume that this is the stream, right, which is going downwards. Now, in this particular case, we are given that the boat which is going downwards, right, a boat took 2 hours to travel 20 kilometers. So this total distance is 20 kilometers. So going down, it took 2 hours, right? So when it went down, it took 2 hours. However, on the return, it took 5 hours. Huge difference of 3 hours is mainly because the current of the water was helping boat to move faster when it was going along with the current downstream. But in the return upstream, current is against. So, therefore, the speed effectively was reduced and it took longer. Now, such questions we can easily solve by understanding the two situations. So, clearly, the two situations involve one where the boat is going down, right, and the boat is going up. So, while the boat is going down, the speed is of the boat and that of the current, they add up. So let's define the variables speed of the boat in still water and speed of the current, right? So let's say that speed of the boat in still water is b, right? So downstream speed will add up, so b plus c, where we'll define a variable as speed of boat and current, right? So say let speed of boat be p, b for boat, right, and c for current. So when you go downstream, both add up. Upstream, boat speed minus current. Correct. And then the next column is related to time, which we found is different 2 hours and 5 hours, right? 2 hours and 5 hours. Let's write down units. speed in kilometers per hour, and time in hours. So, when you do this, you get two different equations because you know that the distance is 20 kilometers, right? So, let's write down distance, which is 20 kilometers in both cases. Now, we also know this particular triangle which relates speed, distance, and time, right? So, distance is product of speed and time, right? So we can always write for the first equation this distance of 20. So let me write equation here. Distance is speed into time. Distance of 20 is same as b plus c, the speed, and times 2. And the other one gives us 20 as equal to b minus c times 5. Makes sense, right? So that is how we can actually relate them. Now let's open this bracket or simplify it, right? So 20 equals to b plus c times 2. We could rewrite this as dividing by 2. We could write this as 10 equals to b plus c. Dividing by 5, we get 4 equals to b minus c, right? See how we have reduced these equations easily, right? Two different equations we got. So one saying 10 equals to b plus c, the other one 4 equals to b minus c. Now, what happens when you add them up, right? So, we'll add these two equations. So, add them up, right? So, when you add them, what do you get? 10 plus 4 is 14, and b plus b is 2b. C and minus c cancel, and therefore, we have 14 equals to 2b. Dividing by 2, we get the value 7 equals to b. So speed of the boat is 7 kilometers per hour, right? So we get one answer, which is speed of boat. Speed of boat is equal to 7 kilometers per hour. Now, once we know speed of boat, we can use any one of these equations and find the speed of current, right? So, for example, we have this particular equation saying 4 equals to b minus c. So, if I use this particular equation, 4 equals to b minus c. So 4 equals to 7 minus c. Or we can rearrange and write c equals to 7 minus 4 or c equals to 3. So we get the speed of the boat as you can see here 3. And speed of the boat is 7 kilometers per hour. So we can write down our answer as speed of boat is 7 kilometers per hour and that of the current is 3 kilometers per hour. Makes sense, right? So that is how easily you can actually solve questions related to boat. And this is similar to airplane when going against the wind or with the wind. Many applications in this regard can be taken care of. I hope the steps are absolutely clear. The question before us is the sum of three numbers is 75. The second number is 5 more than the first, and the third number is 3 times than the second. Find the numbers. Let's try to understand how do we solve such a question. So let's begin with the let statement. Let the numbers be A, B, and C. In that case, what will be their relation? The sum of three numbers is 75. First statement, sum of three numbers 75 means A plus B plus C equals to 75. The second number is 5 more than the first, means B is A plus 5. 5 more than the first. The third number is 3 times the second. C is 3 times second, which is B. So you see, we got three equations from these three statements. Since we have three unknowns and three equations, we can exactly find their values. Find the numbers. Great. So since we know C is 3B, we can go backwards from 3 to 2 and find what B is. B is A plus 5, correct? Now, it's a good idea to write all these in terms of B. In that case, you'll have one unknown. You get the whole idea, right? So we know C is 3B, and from 2, we can say what is, let's say from 2, let's go like this. A is B minus 5. So equation 3 and 4 relates A, B, C in terms of B, right? So we have only one variable to figure out, and that should help us to get the equation. Perfect. So let's continue. So instead of writing A plus B plus C, we can substitute the value of A and C here. So A is B minus C, so we get B minus 5, sorry, plus B, and C is 3B. And the total is 75. So B plus B plus 3B is 5B, minus 5 is 75. 5B is 75 plus 5. 5B becomes 80. Dividing by 5, 80 divided by 5, 5 times 130 means 16. So now we know that B is 16, right? So we can find other values also. We get B as equal to 16. A is B minus 5, which is 16 minus 5 equals to 11. And C is 3 times B, which is 3 times 16, or 48. So the numbers are A, B, and C. So the numbers are 11, 16, and 48. Correct? So that is how we can find solution of this problem. Simple strategy. First define the variables. Read the question carefully. Every statement gives you an equation. Three equations, three unknowns, and solve. The strategy which we really used was we wrote all the numbers in one variable, which in this case was B. I hope that helps. Feel free to write your comment, share your views. If you like and subscribe to my videos, that'd be great. The points A, x minus 1, B, 2, 1, and C, 4, 5 are collinear points. Find the value of x. Extremely important question from test point of view. Well, in case you want to master the strategies, you can always contact me on email globalmathinstitute@gmail.com. Our students are right there on the top getting admission to the universities with scholarships. Now let's try to understand the one word which is collinear, which sometimes creates problem in solving this problem. Now, collinear means in a straight line. Collinear. All the 3 points are on a straight line. That is what it means. So we are given some points. We know B, C. So I'm just plotting some points here. Let's say this is B for us, and the coordinates are 2, 1. That is how you're going to visualize. And this is C for us, the coordinates being 4, 5. And point A seems to be here if it is collinear, right? And x value and minus 1 is the y value. So if A is collinear, the situation is going to be something like this. Now, how do I find the value of x? One unknown, I need one equation. So collinear means same slope. with a common point. Correct? Same slope with a common point. Since we need to find the value of x, we will take one of the common points as a, right? So we can have slope from a to b, which is, we can say m a b, which definitely is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Y2 value being 1 minus y1, which is minus 1 over x2, 2 minus x. So that becomes one slope, right? Now, b becomes a common point. So from b to c, also we want the same slope. You get the whole idea, right? So now we'll write m from b to c, which will be a number. So 5 minus 1, those are the y values, over x value 4 minus 2. 5 minus 1 is 4, and then we get 2 here as the result. Now these two slopes, m from a to b and then from b to c, should be equal. That should give us the value of x, right? So x is the only unknown in our equation to figure out. So we'll write down our equation here as, from here 1, and this is our equation 2, they should be equal, right? So we have 1 plus 1, right? Minus or minus becomes plus, over 2 minus x equals to 2. So that is what we need to simplify, correct? So this is 2 equals to 2 times 2 minus x. Okay, 2 equals to, cross multiply, 2 times 2 minus x. This is what we need to solve. Clear? Okay. So let's solve this equation. So 2 and 2 can cancel with 1. You can say that, right? So means 1 equals to 2 minus x, right? So this is 2 minus x. So 1 is 2 minus x. Bringing x here, we get 2 minus 1 as the value of x, which is 1, right? So x has to be 1. So now we get the solution that x is equal to 1 for the point A to be collinear. Absolutely clear. So the key here is collinear, means along the same line, means with one common point which we took as B, we have same slope A to B, B to C. And equating that, we can find the value of the unknown x. I hope that is absolutely clear. Here we have a very beautiful question based on intersection of diagonals of a rectangle. A rectangle has vertices A, B, C, and D. Develop an algebraic solution to find point of intersection of the diagonals. It's important to understand the statement. We need to find algebraic solution to the point of intersection of the diagonals. Let us now sketch the diagram, understand the situation, and then solve. So we are given a rectangle. So let's say this is the rectangle for us. The diagram is not to the scale. We are given points A, B, C, D. So A is 2, comma 2. B is 2, 6. C is 4, 6. And D is 4, 2. So we have horizontal and vertical lines, as you can see. The diagonals from A to C will be kind of like this, and that from B to D will be this, and the point of intersection will be right there. If this was an objective type question, or if they develop an algebraic solution, was not a statement, then we could have found this point very easily, right? Let's call this point as M. This is actually the midpoint of the diagonals. So basically, it is the midpoint of the two ends of this diagonal. So the midpoint will be taking the x values 2 and 4, right? 2 plus 4 divide by 2. And the y values 2 plus 6 divide by 2. Makes sense, right? So the midpoint coordinates are 6 divided by 2 as 3 and 8 divided by 2 as 4. So that is our expected answer, right? So we know the answer that the midpoint is indeed 3, 4. How do we develop algebraic solution is what we are going to see here. So of course these diagonals are also part of a line segment, and therefore we can write down equation for line which is A to C, and also equation of line which is from B to D, and their intersections will give us the algebraic solution. Makes sense, right? So we have understood the concept. Now since 2 points are given to us from A to C, let's find the slope first. So M slope from A to C will be change in y value, which is 6 minus 2, over change in x values 4 minus 2, which is equal to plus 2, right? Now for the other line B to D, it is going to be y2 minus y1 we are doing, right? 2 minus 6 over 4 minus 2, which will be minus 2. So we got a slope of 2 for the first line, which is rising, positive slope, negative 2 for the line which is falling. Perfect. Makes sense, right? So the equation, we are writing equation in the form y minus y1 equals to m times x minus x1, correct? So for the first point, let's take the point 2, 2. So both y and x values are 2, 2. So in that case, the equation will be y minus 2 equals to the slope, which is also 2, x minus 2. We can rearrange it. We get y minus 2 equals to 2x minus 4, right? So bringing 2 to the other side, we get y equals to 2x minus 4 plus 2, which is y equals to 2x plus minus 2, right? Minus 4 plus 2, we get one equation. Let's call this as equation of first line. The second line, let's find that equation, y minus which points you want to take. Let's take 4, 2 as the point for the other diagonal. So in that case, y value is 2. So we get y minus 2 equals to slope of minus 2, x minus 4. So we get y minus 2 equals to minus 2m plus 8, or y is equals to, x, right? Yeah, x minus 4. So the second equation will be y minus a y value of 2 equals to the slope of minus 2 times x minus 4. So y minus 2 equals to minus 2x plus 8. Y is equal to minus 2x plus 8 plus 2, or we get y equals to minus 2x plus 10. Correct. So we get both the equations. Of course, one line is rising, positive 2 slope, other one falling, negative 2 slope, and the y-intercepts for both the lines are minus 2 and plus 10 respectively. Now we need to find the point of intersection. That means we need to solve this simultaneously, right? So I'll take it on the next page and solve the two equations. Perfect. So the two equations for us are y equals to 2x, right? So it is falling, and the other one is, well, minus 2 and plus 10 minus 2, and the other one is y equals to minus 2x plus 10. Right? So these are the two equations which we have with x and y intercepts. So the rising line will have negative 2 as your y intercept. Now these are the equations 1 and 2. So if I add them up, means adding equation 1 with adding equation 2, we get 2y, 2x and minus 2x cancel, minus 2 plus 10, right, which is plus 8, and y equals to 8 divided by 2, which is 4. So we get the value of y, correct? Which is same as what we got, correct? So basically, to develop an algebraic solution, we need to get these two equations. We equated them. By elimination, we are finding the value of y first, and now we can find the value of x. So from the very first equation, I can write 2x equals to y plus 2. So 2x equals to y is 4, right? 4 plus 2. So 2x is 6 and x is 6 by 2, and we get the x value of 3. Perfect. So we do get the point of intersection. So point of intersection for us is the x value being 3, y value being 4. So I hope you understand how do we solve such a question. However, you also understand a trick, that is, the intersection of diagonals is the midpoint, right? So in any rectangle, both the diagonals, they bisect one another. They are not the right bisector, remember that part. We have some wonderful questions here in the playlist. Let's begin with the one regarding intercepts. Question number 1 here is, if the sum of reciprocals of the intercepts of a line is half, through which point will the line pass? Four options are given to you. Extremely difficult question for most students in grade 9. Let's see, how do we solve this? Well, before beginning to solve, let us try to understand the intercept form of the line itself. Most students are familiar with the equation y equals to mx plus b. Now, in this particular equation, m is the slope, as you know, right? And b is the y-intercept. Now, in the intercept form, things change a bit. I mean, the same equation can be rearranged and written in a different way. For example, if I have a line, as you can see drawn here, with x-intercept as a and y-intercept as b, in that case, what is going to be the slope? Well, line is going downwards, and therefore the slope will be negative b over a, right? Going down, right? So you go down by b units. So change in y is minus b, and change in x is plus a. So it is minus b by a. And of course, the y-intercept b remains as b. So in the equation which we had to y equals to mx plus b, if I substitute m equals to minus b by a, what do I get? Well, I get y equals to, instead of m, I'm writing minus b by a, right? And I have x plus b, correct? So we get a equation where we have a and b as x and y intercepts respectively. You get the point. Now, let's bring the x terms to the left side, so we get b over a, x plus y equals to b. Now, how about dividing by b all the terms? So we get what? So we get x over a plus y over b equals to 1. So now you see, we still have the same equation of line, but in a very different form. And this form is called the intercept form of line, right? So this is the intercept form, right? So you're clear. So we have the equation of line y equals to mx plus b, which is slope and intercept form, and the other form is x over a plus y over b equals to 1, which is intercept form. So in solving this equation, I will take intercept form and then move forward and show you how easily we can actually solve this equation. Perfect. So let's move on a fresh page. So once again, the question here is that if sum of reciprocals of the intercepts of a line is half, so we are writing the intercept form, which is x over a plus y over b equals to 1, where a and b are intercepts. Perfect. When we say sum of intercepts, reciprocal of intercepts is half, means 1 over a plus 1 over b is half. Make sense? So that is what it means when I say sum of reciprocals of these intercepts is half. Absolutely clear? And now let us use the intercept form of the equation of line, which is x over a plus y over b equals to 1. Now, in the choices given, you'll observe one thing, and that is that a and b values, the x and y values are same, right? So, in all options, we have x equals to y. Makes sense, right? So, it's a very minute observation which makes all the difference in getting this answer right, and it makes a huge difference to beat the competition. So if I put x and y as same, I could write this as x over a plus x over b, right? Equals to 1. Taking x common, we get 1 over a plus 1 over b equals to 1. And since we know that 1 over a plus 1 over b is half, I could now write this as x times half is 1, or x is equal to 2. And therefore, option B is the right option because then the point will be 2, 2. Does that make sense? So, in this video, you not only learn how do we solve a multiple choice examination style test question, but you extended your knowledge from just knowing y equals to mx plus b to a very beautiful form, which is x over a plus y over b equals to 1, called intercept form. Second, you also learn how do we observe the options given to us to get the right result, right? Otherwise, this question could have been very difficult. I hope you understand and appreciate, and this is why most of my students are right there on the top, getting admission to the best universities, even with scholarships. So, in case you want to be there, feel free to send an email on globalmathinstitute@gmail.com. I hope it helps. Titled is Area of Triangle, and the question is a line with slope of 1 and a line with slope of 2 intersects at point P 1, 6. Determine the area of the triangle formed by the lines and the x-axis. Beautiful question. Let us see how do we solve this problem in many different ways. We'll begin with the traditional method normally taught in the schools, and then understand alternate beautiful ways of solving the same question in half the time. So, that is what you're going to learn in this particular video, skills to solve problems in the most effective way. And it makes a huge difference between joining the best universities or not. Perfect. So, let's understand what are we given. So, in this particular case, we're talking about two lines with different slopes but intersecting at a common point. So, let's say we have line 1, right, and line 2. In line 1, the slope is 1. In line 2, the slope is 2. But we have a common point which is P 1, 6. To find equation of the line, we know y equals to mx plus b, right? So let me write down the equation on this side in general. Y equals to mx plus b, where b becomes the y-intercept. For the first line, we could write this as y equals to 1 times x. No need to write 1, but I'm just writing so that it's absolutely clear. Let's say b1 is the y-intercept for the first line. And for the second line, it will be y equals to 2x plus b2. Substituting the point given to us as 1, 6, y value being 6, x as 1, we have 1 plus b1. And in the other one, we get 6 equals to 2 plus b2. Solving the first equation, we get 6 minus 1, which is 5 for b1. And here we have 6 minus 2, which is 4 for b2. And therefore, the equations of the lines are y equals to x plus 5 and y equals to 2x plus 4. At this stage, you can also check that if I substitute x equals to 1 for both the lines, we get y equals to 6. So this equation is absolutely correct. Now the question says, determine the area of triangle formed by the lines and the x-axis. So we kind of we have a situation where I could actually sketch the line, right? And let's say this is the points where it is intersecting the x-axis. So we just found that this point P, which is common to both, is 1, 6. Correct? And these are the points for line 1 and 2, the y-intercepts, which are 5 and 4. Correct? We are interested in finding the area of this triangle, right? Correct. Now, since y value is 6, we know the height is 6, correct? Now, we need to find what is the base. To find the base, we are looking for the x-intercepts, means y value is 0. So, now let's find the x-intercepts. Means y is 0. What is the value of x? So, to find the x-intercepts, I'll put y equals to 0. So if I substitute 0 in the first equation, I get 0 equals to x plus 5. And therefore, the x value is minus 5. In the second case, if I put 0 for y, I get 0 equals to 2x plus 4. And the x value will be minus 4 divided by 2, which is minus 2. So these 2 points which we are talking about are minus 5 and minus 2. So we know the x-intercepts, right? So we just found the x-intercepts, which are minus 2 and minus 5. So let's label them, these points as A and B, for example. Okay. So the base is minus 5 minus 2, right? So we get the base of triangle is minus 2 minus of minus 5, which is 3. And we know the height is what? Height is 6. And so we can now write down the area of triangle, right? Which is half base times height, right? Okay. So half base times height will be half, and base is 3 for us, height being 6. So that gives you 6 times 3, 18 divided by 2 as 9. So our answer is 9 units square. Makes sense. So that will be our traditional way of finding area of this particular triangle. First, we will find the equation of each line and then the x-intercepts to find the base of the triangle. Height over the x-axis is the y value of 6. And so we'll get our answer as 9 units square. Clear? So that's perfectly fine. Now let's look into alternate ways of looking into this particular problem. How can we solve it? Now that is where we come in. Now, in case you really want to learn strategies and excel, you may send an email on Global Math Institute at gmail.com. Our students join the best universities even with scholarship. Now let's try to understand where we are. As we know, we have two things given to us about each line, a point which is P16 and then slope of line. Now, from here, let me just draw two different lines, one with slope of 1, let's say, right, and the other with slope of 2, which will be steeper, right? Correct. And let's say we really don't know where they intersect the x-axis. So what we are going to do is we just draw a line here saying that this is the x-axis. We don't know where is the y-intercept, so we'll just draw a y-axis. These lines have been drawn only for your clear vision of what we are trying to do. However, the concept is very simple. Let's consider the line 1, which is our first line with slope 1. In that particular line, since slope m, which is rise over run, is given to us as 1. So if rise is 1, run will be 1, right? So in the first case, to come down to 0, for example, we are looking into the area of this particular triangle, right? We are interested in finding these 2 points. Perfect. We need not find the equation of the line. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Area of triangle, as you know, is equal to half base times height. Perfect. Area of triangle is base into height. Height above the x-axis is 6, known to us. We need to only figure out what is this length or what are the x-intercepts. So to come down by 6 units, slope of 1 means down 6 means left 6. So that means from this particular point, which is 1 6, we have to go to 0 for y and minus 6 for 1 also, right? So which gives you minus 5. Makes sense. We have to go down by 6, okay? For both x and y, same value. Because this slope is 1. You get the concept. So directly, we get this point as minus 5. Using the same concept once again, we'll show you that we are starting with slope of 2 for the second line and the point which is 1 6. So slope 2 means rise over run is 2 to 1. The ratio is 2 to 1, right? So if I want to go from 1 to 6 to a value where the y value is 0, that means for y, I am coming down by 6, minus 6. Now, since slope is 2, it is going to be faster, right? Twice the ratio is. So this value for 1 will be reduced not by 6 but by 3, half the value of 6, minus 6 by 2, which is minus 3. Do you get the idea? And therefore, we get minus 2 here. So, from slope and the point itself, we can directly find the x-intercepts. We could have found the y-intercept in the same fashion. Y-intercept is a point where the x value will be 1, or x value will be 0, right? So in that case, you could find the y-intercept just by changing x value by 1 unit. So if the slope is 1, y value will also reduce by 1. But if slope is 2, then the y value will reduce by 2, right? So using this concept, we could have got these values also, which are not really required. I've shown you what is required. So from here, since we got the x-intercepts as minus 5 and minus 2, we know that this base is equal to 3 units, right? And height is 6 units. And therefore, we could write down the area of triangle as half of base of 3 and height of 6, which gives us 9 units square. You get the idea. We need not find the equation of the line. We can straight away get the x-intercepts from the point given to us and the slope. Now, this kind of a strategy is not being used in general. So, once you understand concepts to a greater depth, you can utilize and get to these solutions in no time. Especially if you have a multiple choice test paper before you. Imagine how much time do you save and how much ahead you move in the competition, especially for questions in SAT, for example, it matters. So, our training of the students following the right methods for the given question helps. So, in this particular set, we have 5 questions for you, which you can see right there. We are going to start with the very first question and move forward in solving them one by one. Also, notice a very special offer for students preparing for IIT JEE. If they are in grade 9 and 10 and they want to join my coaching classes, I'm taking 10 of them absolutely free. Apply till 31st of December or latest by 1st of January. Classes begin from 1st of February. Great. Let's begin with the solution of the first question here. Strategy is simple. Define variables, write expressions, equate them to equations, solve them using substitution or elimination method. Write answer in a complete sentence. Right. So question number 1 is half of the difference of two numbers is 2. The sum of the greater number and twice the smaller number is 13. Find the numbers. So let's define the numbers as variables. So let x and y be the numbers. Now read the sentence again. Half of the difference of two numbers. So half difference of two numbers, we are assuming x to be greater than y. Then we'll write x minus y. So that becomes the difference of two numbers is 2. Very tricky equation, right? Half of the difference of two numbers is 2. So as soon as you get your equation, label it. So here's equation 1 for us. Second statement is The sum of greater number and twice the smaller number is 13. So greater number is x. So the sum of greater number, which is x, plus twice the smaller number, which is y, right, is 13. So you get a second equation. We'll label this as 2. At this stage, once you have two equations, you need to decide whether you want to use substitution method or elimination. So what we can do is we can rearrange equation number 1, right, and multiplying both by 2, we can get x minus y equals to 2 times 2, which is 4. Makes sense, right? So we multiplied equation 1 by 2 on both the sides. So we call this as our equation number 3. Now you can see that if I take difference of equation 2 and 3, I can actually eliminate x. So what am I going to do? Well, we'll do equation 2 minus equation 3. So when I write these numbers in circle, it's kind of a code for my students. Equation number 2 minus equation number 3. So x minus x is 0, and then we get 2y minus of minus y. You understand? Equals to 13 minus 4. So from here, we can find the value of y. So basically, let me rewrite this as 2y minus and minus becomes plus, and 13 minus 4 is 9. So we get 3y equals to 9, y equals to 9 over 3, which is 3. So we have solution for y, which is a smaller number, right? So you can now use any one of these equations to find the value of x, right? So we know that x minus y is 4, right? So that means x is basically 4 plus y, correct? So we can find what x is. Makes sense? So x is equal to 4 plus the value of y, which is 3. So that gives us 7. So we get our answer. Our answers are x is equal to 7, y is equal to 3. Correct? So now you can see 7 minus 3 is 4, and half of that is 2. So it works, correct? So I hope you have understood all these steps involved in solving the very first question. Clear? Let's move on to the second question now. Similar type, it says the larger of the two number is 4 more than the smaller. Twice the larger added to smaller is 86 this time. Find the two numbers. So the idea of having similar question is, if you have understood this strategy, pause the video, answer. If not, try to understand once again. So again we have two numbers, x and y, right? So x and y are two numbers, right? Where x is greater than y. So x is the larger number, right? So this is our let statement. Now it says larger of the two number is 4 more than smaller, right? So larger number is x. So x is y plus 4 more than the smaller. Twice the larger means twice x. Added to smaller equals 86. So once again, read the question, write the equation, and then check. Is it right? The larger of the two numbers is 4 more than smaller, x equals to y plus 4. Twice the larger 2x added to smaller equals 86 plus y equals 86. Perfect. So we can now label them as equation 1 and equation 2. Find the two numbers. Now, you know x equals to y plus 4. So let us use substitution this time, right? So sub 1 in equation 2. So which means value of x, right? So value of x is y plus 4. And then we have y equals to 80. Makes sense? So this time we are going to use substitution strategy to solve our equation. Correct? Great. So apply distributive property. 2 times y plus 2 times 4 is 8 plus y equals to 86. And 2y plus y is 3y, right? So 3y equals to 86. Take y 8 on the other side. Correct? So we got 3y equals to 86 minus 8. And when you take away 16 minus 8 is 8 and we are left with 78. So y is equal to 78 divided by 3, which is 3 times 2, 6, and 18 is 26. So we have the value of y as 26. Once you have value of y as 26, you can find what x is using one of your equations. So x is equal to y plus 4. So that means it is 26 plus 4, which is equal to 30. So we get our solution for x and y, correct? So our solution here is that x is equal to 30 and y is equal to 26. You can see x is larger than y by 4. Makes sense? Great. So I hope everything is clear so far. Feel free to write your comment, share your views. In case you want to learn directly from me, you can always send an email to globalmathinstitute@gmail.com. Our students are right there on the top, getting admission to the best universities. Now let's move on to question number 3. Also look for our special offers. This time we are offering for 10 students who are preparing for IIT JEE absolutely free. Great. Question number 3 here is, the sum of two numbers is 4 less than twice the larger. If 3 times the smaller number is subtracted from the larger number, the result is minus 20. Find the numbers. So very similar to the first two questions. I hope by now you have understood the strategy. So in this set, we are comparing the numbers and working with them. Two numbers. So once again, I'll write down the equation, but use any of the method, elimination or substitution, to solve this, right? Sum of two numbers. So let's write x and y are two numbers where x is larger than y. Is it clear? Sum of two numbers is 4 less than twice the larger. So sum of two numbers means x plus y, correct? Sum of two numbers is 4 less than is means equal to. 4 less than, 4 will come after, twice the larger. So larger number is x, right? You get the equation correct. So that is how from the first sentence we get our first equation. Clear? Second sentence. If 3 times the smaller number is subtracted from the larger number, so larger number is x minus 3 times the smaller number. If 3 times the smaller number, which is y, is subtracted from the larger number x, the result is minus 20. So that becomes your equation number 2. Get the idea. So we have two equations right there. Now, in the first equation, x is on both the sides. So it is a good practice to rewrite this, correct? So let's rewrite this as bringing that 2x to the right or left, whatever. Let's bring it to the left side. So we have x minus 2x equals to minus y, or let's keep y here itself, plus y equals to minus 4, correct? X minus 2x is minus x plus y equals to minus 4. Give this as your equation 3. Now you see, you can actually easily solve this particular problem using these two equations. You can use the method of what is good for you, elimination. If you are going to add them, x and minus x will cancel. So that is how we decide which method to be used. So we will do elimination method. So we are going to add equation 2 with equation 3. Clear? So when you add x minus x is 0, minus 3y, we get minus 3y plus y equals to minus 20 plus minus 4. Clear? So we have minus 2y equals to minus 24, or y is equal to minus 24 over minus 2, which is 12. Once you get the value of y, you can use one of your equations and then find the value of x, right? So I'm going to use the equation 3, right? So we'll substitute y equals to 12 in our equation number 3. Make sense? So what do we get? We get minus x plus 12 equals to minus 4, or x is equals to 12 plus 4, which is 16. So larger number is 16, smaller is 12, right? So we get our solution. So let's write down our solution now, which is x equals to 16 and y equals to 12. Make sense? You can see the difference is 4. Moving on to the next question, question number 4. When 3 times one number is added to 4 times another, the result is 44. When 5 times the number is added to 2 times the second number, the result is 50. What are the numbers? Great. So a slightly more tricky question. Start with defining variables. So we have x and y are two numbers. Okay, great. When 3 times, so let's read, 3 times one number, right? So 3 times one number, you can pick any one, 3x, right? Then read further, is added to. So you add this to 4 times another number. So we get what? 4 times another number. The result is 44. The result is 44 means equal to 40. Do you see how simple it becomes? So read carefully, divide your sentence into small phrases, write expressions, relate as an equation. That becomes our complete strategy. So I hope you have got this strategy to solve word problems. Correct? Now go through the second statement, which is when 5 times the number is added to 2 times the second number. Right? So 5 times the number is added to 2 times the second number. 2 times the second number, the result is 50. So we get 50. So we got our equation. We'll number them as 1 and 2. Now in this equation, there are different ways of solving. Elimination will be better. What we can do is we can multiply the second equation by 2. So let's do that. So we get 10x plus 4y equals to 100. And we get our third equation. You see that? Idea is that now we have 4y common in equation 1 and 3. So if I subtract one from the other, right? So let's do, if I do equation 3 minus equation 1, what do I get? So 10 minus 3 will give me 7x, right? 4y is 0 and 100 minus 44. Do you see how we eliminated the value with y and got an equation only in x, right? So now from here we can solve for x. 100 minus 44 will be 10 take away 4 is 6 and 9 take away 4 is 5. So we have the value of x, which is 56 by 7, or x equals to 8. So we get our x value, which is 8. Now we can substitute this value in any one of our equations, right? So let's use equation 3. So we have this equation 10x plus 4y equals to 100. You could use equation number 1 also. That is better because it's simpler, right? So we'll use equation 1. Instead of 10x 4y, we can use equation 1 or 2, right? So let's use equation 2. 5x plus 2y equals to 50. Correct. No problems. Any one of them. Substitute the value of x as 8. So 5 times 8 plus 2y equals to 50. 5 times 8 is 40 plus 2y equals to 50. So 2y equals to 50 minus 40, which is 10, or y is equal to 10 over 2, which is 5. So we get the values of both x and y. Clear? The value of x here is 8 and the value of y is 5. You can verify the result, right? Substitute 8 and 5 in your original equations to check. Are these the right answers? Perfect. So I hope now you have understood clearly how do we solve such questions. The last question for you is right there, which is not very difficult. However, if you have learned all these strategies in this video, it should not be difficult at all for you. Well, in case you have doubts, you can always send an email on globalmathinstitute@gmail.com. I can share with you absolutely free playlist which can help you resolve your doubts. Question number 5 here is, larger of two numbers is 5 more than double the smaller number. The sum of numbers is 44. Find the numbers, right? So again, the two numbers are x and y. So x and y, where x is larger. So I'm writing x greater than y. Makes sense, right? So when you have numbers, do not imagine that they are whole numbers. They could be fractions also, rational numbers also. You get the whole idea, right? They could be positive or negative numbers. Right? Open for that. Right. So now, larger of the two numbers is 5 more than double the smaller number. So larger is x. Larger of two number is means equal to 5 more than double the smaller, right? So double the smaller is 2y plus 5. You see, I'm writing plus 5 later. Then means it will come later. Subject here is y, smaller number. Twice the smaller number plus 5. So we get our first equation. Now second, the sum of numbers is 44. Very simple. So x plus y is 44. Correct. So here what should you use? Since we already know x in terms of y, method of substitution here is good, right? So you will sub 1 into, correct? So as soon as you sub, what do you get? X is 2y plus 5. So we get 2y plus 5 plus y equals to 44. So 2y plus y is 3y and take 5 on the other side, correct? And that brings you to the value of y as 3y equals to 44 minus 5 is 39. So y should be 39 divided by 3. So y is equal to 30. Once you get the value of y, substitute and get the value of x. First equation is good for us. X equals to 2y plus 5. So x is equal to 2 times 13 plus 5, which is 26 plus 5, which is 31. Correct. So we get our solution. So the solution here is x is equal to 31 and y is equal to 30. Makes sense. You can always, check your answer. It is a good practice. With that, we come to an end of our set with 5 questions. I hope in this you have learned when two numbers are related with product and difference type of thing, how do we write equation and solve them. Feel free to write a comment, share your views. If you like and subscribe to my videos, that'd be great. Thanks for your valuable time and all the best.